First contact had been a historic moment for humanity. The arrival of the Varan Commonwealth brought Earth into a galactic community of species that had existed for millennia. Humans were welcomed as the newest sentient race, an interesting curiosity, nothing more. The universe was vast, populated with hundreds of advanced civilizations, each believing they understood the natural order. None understood humans. Captain Tom Reed stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, watching the Varan blockade fleet through the viewport. 6 months ago, Earth had been sanctioned for dangerous technological development. The Commonwealth claimed humanity's experiments with dimensional physics threatened the stability of local space. They demanded cessation and oversight. Earth had refused. "Commonwealth flagship is hailing us, Captain," said Lieutenant Garcia from her communication station. Tom nodded. On screen, the alien diplomat appeared, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming under the lights of its command center. Ambassador Nilith was respected throughout the galaxy, known for resolving conflicts peacefully. "Captain Reed," the ambassador began, voice translator rendering the clicks and chirps into smooth English. "The Commonwealth has been patient. Your species continues weapon development despite our warnings. This violation cannot stand." Tom smiled thinly. "Ambassador, we've explained our position. Humanity does not recognize the Commonwealth's authority to restrict our research. We've warned you repeatedly what would happen if you continue this blockade." "Warnings from a species barely out of its gravity well," Nilith replied dismissively. "The Commonwealth has maintained peace for 12,000 years. Your primitive posturing is—" "Not posturing, Ambassador," Tom interrupted. "Final notice. The blockade ends now, or we will end it." The Varan's facial plates shifted in what humans had learned was amusement. "Your 5 ships against our fleet of 30? Your bravado is noted but misplaced. We will begin boarding operations within the hour." The transmission cut. "They never listen," muttered Anna Wright, the Defiance's chief engineer. "Not a single one of them ever listens." "Status of the forge?" Tom asked. "Ready, sir. All ships report device synchronization complete." Tom nodded, touching the communicator on his wrist. "This is Captain Reed to all Earth vessels. Initiate Prometheus protocol. Across the 5 human ships, engineers activated devices that have been specifically forbidden by Commonwealth law. Not because they were weapons. The galaxy had plenty of those, but because they altered the fundamental laws of physics within their radius. For thousands of years, the galaxy's dominant species had evolved in environments where cooperation was necessary for survival. Their technologies developed along similar lines, a steady, cautious progression. When they encountered new races, they'd found the same patterns, the same limitations. Then they met humans. Humanity had evolved on a death world, a planet so hostile that every step of their development was bought with blood. They didn't evolve to cooperate. They evolved to overcome. When faced with limitations, they didn't accept them. They broke them. The forged devices activated, creating localized bubbles where Earth-designed physics temporarily overwrote the standard universal constants. Commonwealth shields flickered and died, their fundamental principles no longer valid within the altered space. Weapons systems went offline as energy failed to behave as it should. Tom watched as confusion spread through the enemy fleet. All ships execute attack pattern Delta, conventional weapons only. The 5 human vessels moved with perfect coordination, their own systems designed to function within the altered physics. Rail guns fired projectiles that shouldn't have been able to accelerate as they did. Commonwealth ships, unable to raise shields or maneuver properly, were sitting targets. Within 15 minutes, half the blockade fleet was disabled. "Captain," Garcia called out, "we're being hailed by every remaining vessel." Tom nodded again, on screen. Ambassador Nilith appeared, facial plates now arranged in what humans recognized as shock. "What have you done?" "This is impossible. We told you what we are," Tom replied calmly. "We warned you. Humanity evolved in conditions you can't comprehend. When we say we found ways to alter reality, we mean it literally. The blockade is over, Ambassador. This technology violates every principle off. Your principles, not ours." Tom leaned forward. For thousands of years, your species have explored the stars within comfortable boundaries. You found others who did the same. Then you met us, and instead of trying to understand what made us different, you try to force us into your mold. On his command console, Tom brought up the terms Earth had prepared. These are our conditions for peace. The Commonwealth recognizes Earth's sovereignty and our right to pursue our own technological path. In exchange, we'll share some of our advances, the ones that won't destabilize your societies. Nilith's translator struggled to keep up with the rapid clicks and whistles of the ambassador's distress. The Council will never agree. What you've done here, S. A demonstration, Tom interrupted. A small one. The forged devices have a range of 1 light minute. We have larger versions. If the Commonwealth decides on war, we'll use them. Silence fell across the bridge. You would threaten the entire galactic community? Nilith finally asked. Tom shook his head. We don't want war, Ambassador. We never did. We want to be left alone to develop in our own way. We've spent our entire history fighting to survive. We don't want to fight you, but we will if forced. As the ambassador processed this, reports flooded in from across the disabled Commonwealth fleet. Their scientists were already studying the aftermath of the Forge field, trying to understand what the humans had done. They wouldn't succeed, not because they weren't intelligent, but because they had never evolved to think as humans did. They had never needed to. The universe had lived in comfortable equilibrium until humanity arrived, a species born in fire and chaos, whose very existence demanded innovation. A species that didn't accept limitations as immutable laws, but as challenges to overcome. We'll bring your terms to the Council, Nilith finally said, defeat evident even through the translator. As the transmission ended, Tom looked out at the stars beyond the disabled fleet. They'll never understand us, Anna said quietly. No, Tom agreed. They won't, but they'll respect us now. The Defiance's engines hummed as they prepared to escort the Commonwealth ships out of Earth's space. The galaxy had just learned a lesson that humanity had known since its earliest days. Nature was not a set of laws to be obeyed, but a series of obstacles to be conquered. And humans had been conquering the impossible their entire existence.